Hey guys, it's your girl Shala, Promostk. And yes, I was homeless. I was employed and I was homeless. Hey everybody, it's your girl Shala, Promostk. And I have 3 channels: Eating Good in the Neighborhood, Shala's Creations Way, and also ASMR sounds and story time. So those are 3 channels that I have. They're all Promostk. So if you guys haven't already, go check them out and become family on those channels. But today we're here for a little story time, as y'all see by the title. And I would like to ask a question. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you've ever been homeless. Raise your hand if you've ever been homeless. That is the topic. That's the question. I raised my hand. I have been homeless. So let me just tell you a little bit about my story, and then we'll see how it ended. I was married. I've been married before. He was a husband that was abusive and couldn't keep his, you know what, in his pants. So abusive and a whoremonger is pretty much what I say. But anyway, I had left him several times because I had to, because he wasn't going anywhere. You know how you just stuck in a relationship and it's like he doesn't see anything wrong, he just continue to do wrong, but he expects you to stay there? Because at this time we have 2 kids. So every time I would leave, and he'd always sweet talk me back, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna change, this is different, blah, 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 blah." No. Tiger stripes don't change. So, we were living in northern Alabama, up in Tuscumbia area, up that area. And it was like I had come to my finish line. Like, you know what? That's it. I can't do it anymore. I can't be with someone that I cannot trust. I mean, I just can't. So I called my dad and told my dad, I said, "Daddy, you need to come get me because this is not working out." And he was like, "Let me speak to Gerald. When he get home, tell him to call me." My dad was old school. He didn't believe in divorce. He didn't believe in separation. He believed in that's who you married, that's for life. You know, that old school mentality. So I got on the phone and I called my uncle in New York, my Uncle Johnny B. And I said, "Uncle Johnny B," and I told him the situation. He said, did you tell your daddy?" And I told him what my daddy said. He said, "I'm getting ready to call Debbie right now," because that's what everybody called my dad, Debbie. He got off the phone with me, and probably 15 minutes later, my dad was calling me, saying he was coming to get me. And my dad came and picked me up, me and my kids. I had a son and a daughter. And at the time, my kids were probably maybe 2 and 3. Yeah, maybe 2 and 3. And went back to Alabama with my dad. And my mom lived in Florida. And my mom was like, "Shella, you need to come on here with them kids. You need to come on here." So got on the road with my babies. Went to St. Petersburg, Florida. Stayed with my mom. Started looking for a job immediately. I mean, within 3 days, I had a job. And that was my most favorite job in the world, you guys. Hit promotional product. Henceforth, my promo and my channel name, Promo. So, man, I love that job. So that's where I was working. Worked 8 to 5. And my mom, got to go back a little further to tell you a little story time about my mom. My mom and my dad had went through a relationship issue where my dad went outside the marriage. And not only did he go outside the marriage, he went outside the marriage with my mother's first cousin. And my mom's first cousin was like this. I mean, like this. And so that really, when my mom found out about it, it destroyed her. I mean, because let me tell you the type of person my mom was. My mom was a housewife. My dad took care of all the bills. My dad was like, a woman's place is to be at home with the kids. My dad was the one that was a discipliner. He's the one that disciplined us. My mom never in my life ever put her hand on us. She was always like the news reporter. She would tell my dad, you know, what we did, and my dad would come and discipline us. So my mom never hit us. So my mom never, ever in her life with my dad ever had to have any other responsibility other than to taking care of what's home. And when this happened with her and her cousin and my dad, and she found out about it, it destroyed her. I mean, it totally changed who she was. It was like, because my mom didn't start driving until she was 35 years old. She started driving, had never cut her hair. Her hair was like silky. My mom had like part Indian. My mom had like beautiful hair just flowing down her back. And my dad loved her hair. So guess what my mom did? First opportunity she got, she went and had it cut off. And my dad was so mad, but oh well, payback. So my mom, just to let you know why my mom was probably this way, she like, cause my mom, she was a virgin when she was married, when she got with my dad. The only man she'd ever been with. And then for this to happen, and not only for that to happen, but for her trust issues with her relatives. It's like everybody knew this but her, because she was always at home. So my mom, she got with my other cousin, and she just went, but wow, I mean, she just went man to man. She was like man to man. And that's why I told you on that my mom said, take a man for everything he got. That's my mom. That was my mom mentality. And she said, don't ever have any friends. Don't have no women friends. She was so broken because of that happening. And when we were growing up, we didn't have like girlfriends, like friends that we just, you know, we had associates friends, you know, co-worker friends, church friends, or whatever. But we did not have that close bond to a friend because we had that standoffishness. My mom, like, don't trust another woman. Don't trust them. You know, to her, like, if I couldn't even trust my husband with my own first cousin, what somebody off the street, how can I trust them? So, long story short, I moved to Florida with my mom, and I started working. My mom was watching my kids, and my mom was like, she would call me every day, and she would say, Sheila, make sure you come home. When you get out of work, make sure you come straight home. Mom, I'm coming straight home when I get out of work. I don't have anywhere else to go. My babies are there. I'm coming straight home. But every day she would call me, and it just drove me insane. And my mama, she changed. I'm telling you, my mom never said curse words when we were growing up. It's like, I was a baby for 13 years, and then my mom started all over, had 4 more kids after me. So my mom was like, she didn't know how to discipline children. And all she knew was that she had to go out to the VFW, to the club, to whatever, because she was so restricted when she was with my dad that she never had an opportunity to be young and have fun. Because before she was with my dad, she was with her mom, and her mom was so strict. She had younger siblings. He was the oldest of 8, and she had to take care of those kids. So my mom didn't have fun. It's not like you say you keep somebody in the closet long enough. When they come out and see there's other stuff besides what's in that closet, they want to explore. So that's what she did. She explored, and she started running around with different guys, you know, had us as kids with these different guys. And but now I'm adult and I have 2 kids. And what my mom was trying to do was she was wanting me to make sure I came straight home so that she can go and run the streets. And you know, as my mom, I love her to death. Rest her heart, rest her life, rest her everything. And that was her mentality because she was broken. She was so broken. She just had to go. And she could not leave until I got there because she wasn't going to leave my babies with my younger siblings, and Lord forbid something happens. So she knew she was responsible for that. And she was just so ran to know that I was coming home. And I'm telling you, it got to the point where, I felt like, oh my God, are my kids hearing all this? Because at this time, my mom, she's cursing. She didn't curse when we were kids. I don't say bad words, curse words. Now, if you really get me going, one may pop out or whatever, but I have a lot of control over what I say. Never curse my kids. Never, ever call them outside their name. But my mom was doing that to her younger kids because she didn't know how to relate. As a mom, to have that responsibility because she never had to discipline us. And now she's got these younger kids, and my dad was in Alabama and she was in Florida, and she got to discipline them. So now she's got my kids, and it's like her freedom was taken away. And I'm like, oh. I was stressed out at work. As soon as that 5 o'clock hit, I worked in Largo, and I had to drive to St. Petersburg, and the traffic difference could take me 30, 45 minutes to get to where she lived on the south side of St. Petersburg. So I'm telling you, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? I couldn't. I'm getting emotional now just thinking about it. So like, what am I do? So we as adults have to make decisions. And some people may say, well, you didn't have to make that decision. You could have still stayed there. It was so, and then plus, like I said, Mom's house was full of kids. She had 4 younger kids, and then my older 2 sisters, they were there with their kids. And it was just, well, they would bring their kids there, but they weren't there, but their kids would be left there too, to be with all the other kids. And I'm like, I could not do it. So I started looking around, where can I go? I was desperate. I'm not lying. I was desperate because it's like, I don't want my kids to grow up in a hostile relationship, with all that fussing and cursing, because that's not where I came from. And that's not where I want to see them going. So my sister lived in Clearwater. My oldest sister lived in Clearwater. She was on Section 8, so I couldn't stay with her. My other sister, Regina, lived in St. Petersburg. I think at the time, she was in St. Petersburg. She lived in a project, so I couldn't go stay with her. So it's like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You gotta do what you gotta do. So I decided, I started calling these rescue missions, started calling these different homeless shelters. Like, you know what? I got a car. If I gotta sleep in my car, whatever I gotta do with my kids. So I contact this one organization, and Lord knows to this day I don't even remember the organization. And the first thing they asked me was I employed? Because in order for you to do this program with this homeless shelter, you had to be working, because they give you the opportunity to work for 3 months and to save your money, so that when after those 3 months you can leave the homeless shelter and have enough money for your deposit, for your rent, for your lights, for whatever you need. They even gave you, if you didn't have a transportation, they even gave you a voucher for the bus system to ride the buses. They even gave you a gas voucher to go get gas. They brought food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner to the room in grocery bags. I didn't have to buy anything. They made sure that you did not have to spend anything. They accepted me into the program because I was working. And I'm like, it's a pride issue, but it's like when you have to do something, then you have to do it. And I felt like I had to do that, and I thank God that I did for my peace of mind. And like I said, my kids was like 3 and 4, and they may not even remember, because I try to shelter them as much as possible. When I went to the homeless shelter building, I have all the misconceptions. I'm thinking, there, because you know what you see on TV, and I'm looking, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna be around a whole bunch of winos. I'm gonna be, people gonna be over me, they're breathing over me. They're gonna be in my space. They may try to steal something. They may try and, rape or snatch my kids. I'm thinking the absolute worst, y'all, because I've never been in this situation before. So, excuse me. So when I got there to the building and the lady took me to my section that I'd be living in, it was like a, you know, at the, how I can relate to it, it's like at the college apartments dorms, like when they have like 3 bedrooms in a apartment and they share a community bathroom or they share a community kitchen. That's how these places were. They were so nice. I mean, we shared commons area, which was the living room and the kitchen. We had our own bathroom and our own bedroom. Our own bathroom and own bedroom. I mean, I couldn't argue with anything. I know my older sister would always say, because, you know, we were family. We would always hang out with our sisters. Our kids would hang out. We would do this before our household became broken. And the only thing was that you had to be in at 8 o'clock. You had to be in at 8 o'clock, no exceptions. You had to be in your apartment at 8 o'clock. You could not stay overnight anywhere, because their belief was if you can stay overnight somewhere, then you have a place to go, and then you need to go. So every week I would get my paycheck. They would have a social worker assigned to you, and they would you would show them your stub, and they would say, okay, put this amount in your savings. Well, I would put it all in my savings. And then at the end, every month they would say, okay, so this is how much you should have. And they would look at my statement. That's how much I would have, or more, or whatever. So, so by the time you're getting close to your 3 months of being out, they're already prepping you to be out there in the real world. I mean, they signed me up for Section 8. They signed me up for daycare for my kids. They paid for my daycare. As far as helping me find a place that paid for my daycare, and they signed me up, helped me sign up on WIC for my kids. So when I got ready to get out of there, let me tell you, because I had a good job. When I worked at Head Promotional Product, it was a good job and it was a good paying job. I just didn't have a place to live. I was in Florida, did not have a place to live. And by the time I left out of there, I had over $6,000 some odd dollars. And with that money, I didn't even go on Section 8. I was able to secure myself an apartment for me and my kids. I was able to get them a private preschool. I was able to do a lot of stuff, and it was because of them. They gave me a fresh start. They gave me a new start that I needed. And I remember my mother-in-law at the time, my ex-mother-in-law now, but my mother-in-law at the time, she was like, Sheila, well, what kinds of conditions were you living in? Did your mom even go and see what kind of conditions you were living in? She didn't even go see. My mom never came. And I know why, you know, because I'm a very independent person, you know, and if it's something that I want, I'm going to get it. If it's something that I need, I'm going to have it. And my dad raised me that way. He always taught me, he said, don't be dependent on no man. My mom was the opposite way. She was always dependent on a man. My dad taught me, don't ever depend on a man. Don't ever depend on a man. Don't ever depend on a man. And that was my mentality. So I've always worked. I've always brought in income. I've always had insurance on my kids. But to be homeless today, and it brought back memories because of everything that's going on in the world with the quarantine, with the homeless people. And my daughter came up from Panama City, and she was telling me about the homeless situation there in Panama City. You know, it just brought tears to my eyes, because one thing I would love to do is to have a soup kitchen that I can have, you know, an open door where these people can come in and sup and eat and have a place to lay their heads, you know, to not be in these conditions that's out there now that's making them so susceptible of not making it to the next day. You know, it's sad that we live in a world that you have so many homeless people here, but yet we're trying to help so many foreign countries. And we have so many homeless people here. I was homeless. I was not ashamed. I tell anybody, yes, I was homeless. Maybe my condition wasn't as bad, but it could have been. It could have been. God just showed me favor. God has always shown me favor. And I thank God, you know. So I just felt like I had to tell the story because I'm not better than anybody. If I would have had to go and with me and my kids and went to a shelter that had just beds laid out like I see on TV, I would have done that. If I would have had to sleep in my car, I would have done that. But yeah, raise your hand if you were ever homeless. Whether it was by choice or in my situation, I had a choice, but my choice was not, it was not the one for me. I had to go. I'm getting emotional. Now again, my kids now are 26. My son is 26, my daughter's 25. So it's been over 23 years ago. This has been over 23 years ago that I was homeless. So we never know what our circumstance may bring us to. We never know. We don't know. All I know is that don't look down on homeless people. If they're truly homeless, don't look down on them. Help them. Help them get to that next level, because then I had this program. It's like as much as I do for my family to help them, and it's like they weren't there for me. It's like nobody's ever there. But I'm always there for them, you know? Yes, I'm homeless. I'm gonna end this now. But yeah, I was homeless. So, y'all wanna hear more about it? Sure, I'll talk more about it, but I get emotional about it because I'm always the one that's left out. It's like, and I try so hard to help so many people, but then people can just close off on me. So, whew. All right, so I'm gonna end it. Promostk. Y'all check out my channels. Show them some love. I love you guys. Bye.